What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another Tottenham update for you guys. Before we get into all the news, go check out our website, WeAreTottenhamTV.com. You can see it on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen right now. We'd really appreciate if you do go check out the website for all the articles and all the merch. If you want to go check that out, it would really help support the channel. Joining me on today's Tottenham update is the one and only Brian Daigle. How are we doing today, Brian?
We are doing good, my man. Spending time with you is always a blessing and a privilege, and everyone watching. So looking forward to seeing what this update brings us.
Well, with the transfer window well underway, let's get into the prospective transfer news. And this is one which is definitely hotting up, and it is Dragusin, of course. And first of all, Ben Jacobs says, Spurs now optimistic on signing Dragusin from Genoa. Talks progressing. Dragusin has already agreed. As reported, Spurs' starting position was to try and do a deal for about 17 to 20 million, even though Genoa have been pushing for about 25 million as of lunch today. Parties not too far apart. Damasio reports that Tottenham remain in pole position in for Dragusin. There is a distance between Genoa's requested and Spurs' offer still, which is why the deal is not closed yet. However, Tottenham are confident to complete the deal. And Fabrizio Romero has chimed in saying Tottenham and Genoa have a new round of talks today already scheduled to advance the Dragusin deal. Initial verbal proposal from Spurs is around 23 million euro, while Genoa asking price is 30 million euro. Contact will continue soon with Tottenham. And Dragusin's agent has chimed in, as he always seems to do at this point. He says he does not, this is what the quotes from Dragusin's agent says. He says he does not think about money, but about prospects for growth and the team he can play for. We were contacted by some Saudi Pro League clubs, but he did not even want to listen to their proposals. Personally, I've not been contacted by Napoli, Roma or Milan. In any case, Radu is not thinking about leaving Genoa mid-season. It would be like leaving some unfinished business. I've had contacts with clubs, including Tottenham and others, but at this moment he does not want to leave. If Genoa does talk to someone and does reach an agreement, we will listen to their proposal. I don't know exactly what idea the club has and what formula they would eventually consider for his sale. So obviously he's kind of playing the game at the moment, isn't he, the agent? Sounds like he's trying to get as much money for the wages as possible. But this one, look, it's definitely hotting up. It does seem to be going in the right direction. And if all going well, hopefully we'll have a new centre-back before too long.
Yeah, listen, I will go on a little tirade here, but not an in-depth one. Listen, do I think the deal is going to get done? 100%. Do I think this Dragusin will be a Spurs player? 100%. The bit that's annoyed me is this was all going absolutely swimmingly yesterday. Then obviously it's this gap in price again. And yes, don't get me wrong, it's agents, and this is what agents do. But this is what happens if you start doing this 5 million apart or 3 million apart. We desperately need a defender. 30 million euros is, as we've been called, the sweet spot. Pay the 30 million. Done. There's no, oh, wait a minute, we're fishing for more. It's done. With other players, like Liverpool with Van Dijk, you want 75 mil, here's 75 mil, deal done. This is agent talk. This isn't the club. This isn't whatever. But we're in this situation again because someone has to win the negotiations. When you desperately need a centre-back, we know it, injury depleted. We know it, third worst defence calendar goal for the calendar year. Yes, Romero and Van der Ven injured made a contribution to that. Worst defence recent history last season. 4 fullbacks playing in defence. You need a centre-back. Pay 30 million, job done. But here we are. But like I said, I expect this deal to happen. We were just hoping it would be smooth sailing. But whenever is it smooth sailing with Tottenham and a January transfer window?
Never is. But look, there's always going to be a bit of bartering, isn't there? But between the clubs, they're trying to get the best price for them. Levy's obviously trying to shave as much money off as possible. As Ben Jacobs saying, we're looking to do a deal between 17 and 20. The Genoa want around 25. I'm sure they'll split the difference to like 22 and a half or something, and a deal will get done and it'll be completed around that. And that, look, for a 21-year-old centre-back who you've scouted and you believe can really make an impact and has a bright future, Like, that's a good price. And for a defender as well, who can play in our system, hopefully can play in the high line and has experience playing in Serie A, like, that could very much be a bit of a steal down the line if all goes well. So I think that for that kind of money, especially with the current market at the moment, I mean, yeah, there really shouldn't be too many sticking points when it comes to that kind of price, especially for how desperate we are for that position.
So, I mean, put it this way: when you say the split could be like, let's say it's the 5 million, and they meet in the middle, 2.5 million, finishing in the top 4 is worth a hell of a lot more than 2.5 million. Finishing as high as you can in the Premier League is a lot more than 2.5 million. This isn't a fee that is big, that is easy for Tottenham Hotspur. This is 2.5 million is nothing in the grand scheme of things to Tottenham Hotspur, but we have to win the negotiation. You're desperate for a player. You pay. If you've got a leaky roof, you don't just go, well, let's get a cowboy in. You pay for a plumber to come in and fix it as quickly as possible. Well, we need to get a centre back to plumb to sort out the holes in the defence. 2.5 million, just get it done. Like I said, he will be a Spurs player. That I have no doubt. It's just the same old again.
All right, next story. We're going to be talking about Sergio Reguilon. Obviously, has returned to Spurs after Man United activated the clause in his contract to let him return in January. And Tom Allnut from The Times says Spurs will look to sell Reguilon this month or send him out on loan again, with Bournemouth, Sevilla and Villarreal amongst those interested. I think that obviously makes sense. I think we obviously don't have room for more foreign players in the squad anyway. I mean, part of me would like to just keep him, just to have him as backup left back, because I would rather him maybe back up than maybe Emerson if in that regard. But I think for Reguilon's sake, he probably needs to move on just to get moved somewhere more permanently, so he's getting some regular playing time. His career is really badly stagnating, and this is a player who's in the Spain squad when we signed him, and he was one of the most sought after left backs in Europe. So I think just for his sake, he needs to move. And a Sevilla, maybe back to Sevilla where he was most successful. That would be a good move, something like that. Yep. But where do you see him moving? Do you see Bournemouth being a destination?
I think he favours a move back home to Spain. I would imagine. He's played his best football in Spain. Obviously, it's his home nation. It's just not worked out, has it? It delivered so much promise when he came with Bound. It looked like we had a real player here, but it's just for whatever reason not worked out. I love the as you said, look to sell, but I think this is not going to be a sell in January. It'll be a loan with option or obligation. But yeah, I think he's gone by the end of the window for sure.
Yeah, agree with that. Next story comes from Dan Kilpatrick. This is regarding Pat Matasar. Obviously, he signed a new contract yesterday. Brilliant news there, 5.5-year deal. And this is surrounding his current fitness, because obviously he went off injured against Bournemouth on Sunday, and he was seen in tears. But Pat Matasar was assessed at Hotspur Way on Tuesday and passed fit to play in the African Cup of Nations. He was on Wednesday mornings travelling to the Ivory Coast to join the Senegal squad. So really brilliant news for him. You saw how emotional and how much it meant to him in the Bournemouth game, that the potential of him being out for the AFCON. So I don't know when he'll be fit in the tournament, whether maybe halfway through the tournament he's available to play, but really positive news, isn't it, that he's back, he's going to be able to play for Senegal.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it with him. We've had it with England. I remember recently with Rooney and Beckham when they had their metatarsals, and us as a nation like, oh my God, here we go. And we can see the emotion on them. This is a big deal for Africans. That this is a huge tournament for them, like our Euros, and every player wants to be there and represent their country. And he's been past fit. I don't know what that means from our medical team. That concerns me. I'd rather Senegal assessed him and did it. But listen, I can't begrudge him going there. Whether he gets game time is another thing. But every player has the right to represent their country, and good for Pape Matasar.
Absolutely, I'm delighted for him, especially given how much it was seen, to affect him. I'm so glad that he hasn't been ruled out, and hopefully he can go there and absolutely have a brilliant tournament and smash it out. And good luck to him, and good luck to Senegal. Next up is a story coming from the Spurs Express regarding Christian Romero. This is an interesting one. He says Christian Romero has reached out to an Argentine commentator who criticised Postecoglou after Tottenham's loss of Brighton to defend his manager. Romero said that for as much as the team may take risks, they will eventually be rewarded, and that the team is a family, and that they can compete for something important. So, really interesting to see Romero, hearing potentially, criticisms of Postecoglou out in Argentina, and kind of calling to defend his manager. And I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of Romero if I was anyone else, a pundit.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way: if you think of anyone in the Spurs squad you'd want to fight your honour, I don't think you'd find anyone more than Christian Romero to have in your corner. It's wonderful to see this, because obviously there was definitely something going on with him and Conte. We know that if he was here, apparently he would have been out the door. We've seen all the comments about what Romero's loving London, loving Tottenham. And to see players actively coming out and speaking for their manager and not against the club, and this is all clubs and all managers, it's so refreshing to see. And Romero showing that bit of fight and backing his manager it's just indicative of him, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows his character, and also shows how much the players are behind the manager, that he feels the need to do that to because if they didn't truly 100% believe in him and bought into him, then he would have just probably swept that criticism under the rug. And I'm not even sure it's a smart thing to do. I'd rather he let his football do the talking, but he felt the need to do it because he truly believes in it, and he's willing to stick up for his manager. So big up to Kuti, and I think that just goes to show the atmosphere around the squad at the moment. Next up is a story about Jude Sonsot-Bell. Fabrizio Romano says Tottenham under-21 talent Jude Sonsot-Bell could leave the club in January on loan, as he's attracting interest from Championship and League One clubs. This will be a very interesting move, wouldn't it? Obviously, we've kind of been a bit burnt in recent years with top talent of ours going out on loan and really not doing a brilliant job, maybe not getting the game time. You think of Troy Parrott a couple of times went out on loan in the Championship, albeit he's out alone at Excelsior at the moment, doing quite well. And then obviously Scarlett this season and last season went on loan to Portsmouth and Ipswich with very little success. So, I mean, based on that, there's maybe going to be a bit of trepidation about sending Jude Sonsot-Bell on loan. But what do you make out of that perspective news?
Do you know what? I am going to say I'm delighted to hear this news, but only reason I'm delighted to hear this news is because, like what is happening with my boy Alfie, I think what we've got to look at, and we're seeing with Dane Scarlett, these people at Jude's age or whatever, they need to go into League One. They'll get minutes, they'll get game time, and they'll earn their stripes and get experience, which is the most important thing. Alfie Devine, like I said, is starting to shine at Port Vale and been given the game time to express himself and show what he's about. You look at Dane Scarlett, who's at an Ipswich, who are high-flying. They've got a winning formula. Are they going to start toying with it with the riches of the Premier League that awaits them? I think League One, especially with this crop of youngsters we've got and how we are waxing lyrical about them, League One is the perfect spot for them. And it looks like Port Vale may become a club. I would like to think that maybe a relationship can be built where players will go to teams like Port Vale and express and listen to what we want them to do. And I hope Jude Sonsot-Bell ends up in League One as opposed to the Championship, so he gets the same minutes and there isn't that much expectation on him in a Championship team. I hope, even if Donnelly League One, let them earn their stripes in that league before they go to the Championship.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's a very exciting prospect considering how well he's been doing in the under-21s this season, and very much a player who's very highly thought of. When we signed him from Chelsea, there was a lot of talk about that as well. And obviously he's shown that his talent is undeniable at this point. So I'd really love for him to get a loan deal just to see how he performs. But there's a bit of me thinking, it didn't quite work out for two other talents who are out on loan at the moment. But I don't think that should stop anyone else. And as you say, Alfie Devine is smashing out at the moment. Port Vale absolutely loving him. So hopefully someone like Sinsop Bell could go on loan and really make an impact. Because I think at this point we can fairly say that the under-21s is just too easy for him in the moment. So I think he needs a bit more of a challenge. I agree with that. And last story is about Hwang Hee-chan. And this comes from Footy Insider. And they're saying that Tottenham are monitoring Wolves forward Hwang Hee-chan. The club scouts have been blown away by Hwang's performances for Wolves this season since his move into a centre-forward role. Hwang has notched 11 goals and 3 assists across 21 appearances in all competitions this season. Hwang Hee-chan, Brian, is that one you would really like at Tottenham?
I have to say, if I didn't mention this person's name, he'd kill me. Tottenham on Tour's very own Ben Kaufman loves this player. Absolutely loves him. And you know what? I admire his work rate. I think he's had a very, very good month. I can see why. I wouldn't say no to, in all honesty. I like this player. Ben really, really likes him. He's in Ben Kaufman. Can we get better? Yes, I think we can. Do I think he could come in and do a very good job for Tottenham Hotspur? I most certainly do. You see, when we talked about Gibbs White yesterday and people were going about Forest and where they are in the league, he's doing very, very well in a very well-drilled Gary O'Neill team who are starting to show true form. And I think Hwang could be a very good signing for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player. I think he's having an exceptional season. I do wonder whether this season I'm not saying he's a one-season wonder because I don't think he is. I think he's a really good player, but I feel like he's really suited to how Wolves play, like on the counter-attack, like bursting into space with his pace. And like, I think he really likes to play in space. If he was at Tottenham in this more possession-based system, would he be as effective? I do question that. I don't know whether... And also, where would he fit in at Tottenham? Would he be a winger? Would he be up front? Is he good enough to be our striker? I don't know. If he's a winger, is he the kind of winger that we kind of want? I don't know if he is. He's more of an inside forward than a winger. So I don't know if he's that kind of guy who takes on his defenders in one-on-one duels and stuff like that. What I do know is very quick, has got a very good finish, but he's quite clinical. So he definitely has his attributes. I just question whether he's completely right for us. I don't know. And it will probably take a big bid to get him because, just signed a contract to Wolves. So I don't think this one's a goer at the moment, but maybe one to keep your eye on potentially.
Yeah, this one I could see. We talk about Gallagher maybe heating up towards the end. I think you're looking at the end of the window, maybe a summer for this one. I think you're right, Simeon, actually, with the things you said about would he fit our system. I just think one thing he will give us is a lot of power, a lot of hold-up play for oncoming runners. I think Maddison would be able to. He'd be able to strike up. Anyone could really with Maddison. Like I said, would he be my first choice? No. Do I think he could do a job at Spurs? Absolutely.
All right. Well, that is it for today's Tottenham Update. Let me know in the comment section below anything we discussed today. And, of course, go check out Brian at Tottenham on Tour. And, Brian, you are 29 subscribers away from 8,000 subs. So everyone go to Tottenham on Tour. Do you want to say anything about people subscribing?
Please do. We're Monday to Friday. We have regular content. I'm up very early Toronto time to provide cockle-doodle-doo. We have Anger Management the day after match days, my reactions from the Scotland Yard. Rez has joined the channel, and there's a lot of new content coming in 2024. We're 29 away. Please help us hit the milestone and get to 8,000 subscribers.
Big up to you as always, Brian. But that is all we have time for today for today's Tottenham Update. Let me know in the comment section below anything we discussed today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.